This Shabbos, it's real, this Shabbos, Ma'aser Shahaya, happened here in Yeshiva Kedoshim. We're not going to mention any names for Shteitzach, you know, but there was a fellow, happens to be sitting in the base medrash right now, and Baruch Hashem, there's so many, so you don't even know who it's going to be. And Kamel Shabbos, he had his jacket, he was holding his jacket, and he was scrubbing some of the stain off. So I said, Shabbos! You know, like those guys who walk down with the cars? You know those guys, you know, not the stones is different shaila. I don't know what to. I have to get into the stone shaila. Whether or not you can, if you have to prepare the stones before Shabbos, otherwise stones are muktzah, so, you know, whatever. But that's what I did. Shabbos! Right? And he just looks at me, he's like, huh? What are you doing? I'm just taking off the stain. I'm not being Mechalel Shabbos. I'm just taking off the stain. What am I doing? Wrong. So what's the answer? Wrong. The answer is that this is one of the Lamatas Malachas. And I said, don't worry. We're here to learn. That's what we're in yeshiva for. That's what we're on this world for. We're here to learn. And therefore, I decided today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn about this halacha. Because I believe that many people, I mean, well, probably all of you do know, but there are many people out there listening who probably don't know this halacha, which is a big shame. Because if they would know, we would stop them from many shailas that they may be over. And I'll give you an example. The Heilige Chayzer Melabin, right before Kiddush, Zev, you know this one? Right before Kiddush, would chaza over Asha, all of Hilchas Shabbos, before he made Kiddush, then he proceeded to make Kiddush. Motl, yeah? Why? Because I'm about to make Kiddush, I'm about to make Kaddish the Shabbos Kodesh, I want to make sure that I know what I'm doing. So he was chazering the ganze Hilchas Shabbos. I don't know how long it took him, can't imagine it took very long, but Lamaisi, that's what he did before Kiddush. So I don't know if we could do that for him. But what we can do is, before Shabbos Kodesh, it's Yom Rishon today, Sunday. Shabbos is coming up, Rabbi Yisai Gavaldik, Akiva, Shabbos, Dubi, Shabbos is coming up. It's Moedik, Baruch Hashem. It's Gavaldik. It's very exciting. And we're going to be starting to chaz over some of the halachas, okay? So we're going to be learning, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to learn the halachas of Melabin. Melabin is as follows, and this, by the way, is so negeya. Melabin, I'll just sum it up in a nutshell, I'll give you some of the practical details on a negeya. Melabin means, in English, to clean. That's what it was. In the Mishkan, as we know from the Mishnah 9 Gimel, that all of the malachas on Shabbos Kodesh are derived from the Mishkan. Whatever was done in the Mishkan is a malach on Shabbos. 39 malachas, 39 acts of binyan, of creation in the Mishkan. We've spoken about this once before. If you remember Matcha, we discussed the idea of Pia Zoya Kodesh, that the Rebbeinu Shalom created the world with 39 ways of which we stop creating because we know that the Rebbeinu Shalom rested on the 7th day. Okay. Now, that being said, Melabin means to clean, which means they took the wool off of the animal. They did goizes, they did shearing, which is to take the wool off the animal, and before they would go along and do the process of making it into beautiful curtains for the Mishkan, they would have to clean those shearings of wool. Cleaning is a malacha on Shabbos Kodesh. So I believe, Moti, that many people come along and say, well, I don't clean on Shabbos. It's not negated to me. When was the last time I put something in the wash on Shabbos morning? It's probably the only time that you can actually get a wash in this yeshiva, that it's not being used all the time, 24 hours, 6 days a week, right? It's empty. But I don't do washing on Shabbos, right? Is that, you ask him? I don't do washing on Shabbos. So I'll tell you how it's nageh. I'll give you a few examples how it's nageh on the Doraisa level, on the Durabonon level, without any specific order. First of all, an interesting one. Anyone here wear contact lenses? One person? That's it? Really? You wear contact lenses? You don't wear contact lenses? One second. You obviously don't wear them on Shabbos, right? What? Okay, so we'll have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about cleaning contact lenses on Shabbos Kodesh. No, I'm not going to do that. Moti, I'm not going to do baby wipes on you, don't worry. This will come up with a lot of attention. We'll talk about disposables. Okay? In Eretz Yisrael, there's a specific extra idea that the Rebbeinu Shalom wanted to mezakah the olam with, and that is there's a lot of dust. I don't know if you noticed this. In Eretz Yisrael, there's a lot more dust than there is in New York. Anybody notice this before? Yeah. You did notice this, right? Okay, I don't know about hummus. You didn't notice this? You notice this? There's a lot more dust, right? Yeah, even than in London, right? There's a lot more dust over here, right? You knock your hand on something, it gets dusty. Everything gets dusty. The reason can't be more than what? Canada? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's more than Canada, right? Arsha, it's more than Canada? Yeah, it's more than Canada. Okay, so if that's the case, then there's a halacha, as we spoke about in the beginning, that if your suit, if your shoes, if your yarmulke, if your pants get dirty, get dusty, then you cannot clean that on Shabbat. That's called cleaning. If you want to take it down to the drabanan level, there's shilas of folding. For example, folding a talis, folding pants, folding things on Shabbos is included, as we'll get to, these halachas. It's also negeya, by the way, on the Durabana level, of hanging things up. Many people have actually, a couple of boys actually asked this one recently. Can't remember who it was. Right, you don't know, maybe it was you. Asked the shaila about if I'm allowed to hang up something on Shabbos that was cleaned before Shabbos. Meaning, I did a wash on Erev Shabbos, it's soaking wet. I would like to hang it up right before Shabbos so that it stays hanging on Shabbos and dries. Am I allowed to do that on Erev Shabbos even? Right, even on Erev Shabbos, maybe on Shabbos as well. There's a lot, Rabbi says, a lot to discuss. There's a lot of Nogei Shailas that are Nogei all the time. Because you're sitting down and you're eating the Heilige Chulent, and a piece of Chulent falls on your sleeve. So what's the natural reaction? The natural reaction, Gabriel, the natural reaction is to take it off, right, and clean it. Because I don't want to take this whole thing to the cleaners. So I'm just going to take the sleeve and I'll wet it with a bit of water, whatever it may be. We have to say, no, exactly, no. We have to see what we do. Straight off the roof. We have to see what we do with such a fellow. We'll talk about it. Okay? So I say we're dealing with a shaila and a malacha which is extremely negeya on Shabbos Kodesh. Extremely negeya. What we have to know are what are the exact details of the malacha. When does it yes apply? When does it not apply? And how? In order for us to understand the malacha properly. So as I mentioned over here, the malacha of Melabin is the malacha of cleaning. It was the malacha of taking the wool that was shed from the animal, cleaning it before they made it into strings, before they made it into something that was able to weave and sew it into beautiful curtains for the Mishkan covers, which is what they did, which is why it's one of the malachas. The Rambam, by the way, famously writes that it's bleaching, which is what they did. And it was white wool. If you ever saw that they take off from the sheep, they take off the wool, it's not sparkling white. It's often dirty because the sheep's been all over the place, right? So they need to bleach it, says the Rambam, and make it whiter, right? Which is, according to the Rambam, that's what they do. But the idea is basically the same. The idea is a type of cleaning, okay? Now, today we're just going to do a hakdama. Tomorrow we'll get to the practical nafkaminas la halacha la maisa. By the way, this is very negeya to your shoes, as well as we will explain. Tuli, you listening? It goes like this. Which material would this be negeya to? Which material is included in Melabin? So the halacha is that only a beged that is absorbent is included. Which means if you have a piece of metal, a piece of wood, right? The place can say even plastic, be'etzem, is not included in Melabin. Why not? Because nothing is absorbed. For example, let's say this table over here gets dirty. Am I allowed to clean the table? Yes. I'm Melabin. What's the same thing as a plate? You ever heard of anybody that says, I'm sure the men would love this excuse, no, I can't clean the plates on Shabbos. It's a shaila of Melabin. I don't know if I want to get involved. I don't know if it's nageya. Right? That's what you could do. The answer is, a plate's not Melabin. Why is a plate not Melabin, Dubi? Because it's hard. Nothing gets absorbed inside the plate. Mimela, whenever nothing gets absorbed, there's no problem of Melabin. Melabin is only on a material. What's that?
Dry cholent on your shirt.
Dry cholent on your shirt, but your shirt is absorbent. So that's already a material. Dry. We'll talk about dry also. You could be over on a couple of the malachas of Shabbos. Could be you could be chayiv like 2 or 3 skeelers. Like, I don't know how we're going to do it though. Once you push him off and he's dead, will you pick him back up again, do skeeler again? I get Toby's like, yeah. You look too excited. Too excited.
Triple the height.
Triple the height. I don't know. The Mishnah says the second floor. What? Walk it. I don't mind. We'll go together. Okay. Now, it's only on an absorbent material. Anything that's not absorbent is okay. Human being. Is a human being subject to Melabin? Meaning, if we get dirty on our skin, are we allowed to wash it off, or do we have to remain dirty for the Gantar Shabbos because Melabin can't clean? Now, skin is absorbent, Lamaisa, right? Skin is absorbent. No, it's not. Any scientists out here? Anyone studied anything before they came here? In any way that's obviously Torah, disavada. Anything that wasn't Torah that you actually remembered? Zev, you want to say, yeah? Well, it's absorbent or not? It's very absorbent, yeah? How much? What's the percentage? What's the...
75.
You know, what do you think now? No idea, right? Over there for sure not. No chance over there, no chance.
To a certain extent.
Was that Google's answer?
we the scientific term is kind of.
Okay, Rabbi said, let's move on. A human being has got a din of a keli, and therefore a human being is not subject to Melabin. So therefore, if you get dirty, there's no issa of rubbing it off, cleaning it off, scrubbing it off, whatever it may be. Leather, and this is never gay, by the way, if you wear leather shoes, for example, or for example, if you have anything leather, so the halacha is, it really depends if it's soft or hard, but we'll talk about there's enough gemina between leather, if you're allowed to make it wet, or there's just a problem of scrubbing it. Rabbi said, let's discuss the 3 separate steps to cleaning a beged. If any of you ever noticed how a washing machine works, how does a washing machine work? So a washing machine has 3 stages, okay? It's important to understand. Next time you put a wash in, you're going to learn a bit of halacha, learn a bit of ideas. Gavril, you with me? You have a washing machine, has 3 steps. What are the 3 steps?
Soap.
First one is what? Soap?
Soaping it.
Right, I was going to put a K. Soak. In other words, the water comes in, that soaks the liquid, yeah? It's, by the way, you're very lucky by the camera's not looking like 360 to see who's saying the answer, because people are listening like, who said that? Okay, yeah? No, yeah, a lot of people here, it's gewaldig. That's why I call out names, because otherwise they think that like he's definitely talking to himself. He's like in a base measures by himself. He's pretending there's like people over there. I'm just calling out names. I had a guy once come in and says, I want to meet some of the names that you call out. I want to see if they actually exist. Okay? Voice say, shidduch information coming up. I'll upon him. For stage number 1, the soaking. The soaking. So the washing machine allows the liquid to come in. That soaks the liquid. That soaks the beged. Right? That starts the process of getting everything off. What's the next stage? Scrubbing. Very good. Shifshuv. That's what you meant, right? Shifshuv means that when it turns around with the liquid in there, it scrubs and rubs the pieces together, which take off the stain. If you ever wondered the godless of how the Rabbeinu Shalom gave a human being the thought process of how to make a washing machine that it would come off is amazing. It's partially amazing, right? Liquid comes in, scrubs. That's process number 2. Stage number 3 is what? The spin. What's the spin? Draining. That's basically schita. You are extracting the liquid by taking out all of the water or the soap, whatever that's there, and then you spin really fast. What's the idea of spinning very fast, Ruvain? It gets out all of the liquid, which is dirty, out from the beged. So Rabbi said we have over here 3 stages in cleaning. Stage number 1 is the rinsing. Stage number 2 is the scrubbing, the shifshuv. Stage number 3 is the schita. All 3 of these stages of Ephraim on Issa D'Oraisa on Shabbos Kodesh. Okay? Let's just do number 1 very quickly for today. And again, like I told you, today is a little bit of a Hadam, an introduction into the Malacha. Tomorrow we'll go through practical nafkaminas. Shriyasai Zehu Kibusai. Gemara in Tzvachim, everyone's familiar with. Where the Gemara tells us, we learned from the Kohen Gadol, we're not going into now the Limud. Shriyasai Zehu Kibusai means that Shriya is the kibus, as I state in the Gemara. That means when you make something wet on Shabbos, you have started the process of the cleaning, which is why it's asa. Which means halacha namaisa. If someone gets dirty and he wants to take a bit of water or something like that and put it on his sleeve, on his shirt, on his shoe, whatever it may be, he's over an issa da'oraisa of Melabin. You cannot make your begodim wet. We are talking about begodim that absorb. We're not talking about a hard table or a plastic plate or something similar to that. That's fine. Or a hard leather shoe. That might also be okay. But we're talking about begodim. The Rishalmi, by the way, comes along, which the poskim paskin halacha lamaisa. Zug the Heilige Rishalmi. Even with your spit is asa. Now people do that, right? You ever saw such a thing? You ever saw such a thing, right? Have you such a thing? They take the spit and they go like this. So next time you see the guy doing that, Asha, what are you going to do? You're going to throw him straight off. Gavaldi, right? Moti, you must come to that one, no? Gavaldi. What type of yeshiva is this? Anyway, so Shriyasa Zeh Kibusay means that to make something wet on Shabbos Kodesh isn't a Doraisa. Tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to talk about this more in detail, together with the next 2 stages of Melabin. Rabbi said this halacha is extremely negay to Shabbos Kodesh. Join us tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, for more.